Ears check, eyes check, brain check. Common sense, maybe not so much. But today, we're mixing a pop instrumental beat. Alright guys, so I previously made a video of me producing this instrumental pop beat, so let's go ahead and mix it to make sure it's 100% or close to ready for the client so that a vocalist, whether it's a rapper or a singer, can get on it and then not really overthink it too much or like have anything sticking out that they don't necessarily like, and then they can go ahead with their direction and then it could be in full completion. Just keep in mind that you're mixing one part of a completed song, so the other part is the vocals, so you're gonna kind of want to attack it to the to that sense to make sure that the vocalist really enjoys it as they go through their repetitions as far as recording. But essentially you're going to send it off to another engineer, or you could do it yourself with the vocals intact, and then you're going to mix everything all together. Some of this may get reconstructed with that in mind at the end with the vocals on it. So I'm over here on Logic again, where I had my instrumental, and then we'll just kind of start off with this guitar loop. All right, so I will go ahead and get my mixer and then my stereo meter here, my peak meter. But let's just see what I got here. I want to start off always with channel EQ. That's how I go about my process. You can go about yours however you feel like, but I have these all highlighted. I got everything else grayed out because they are off right now, and then we'll take a quick look. I'm gonna move pretty quickly, to be honest, on this. If you need any like further descriptions on like EQ, reverb, or anything that of these plugins that you see here, just please watch some other videos as well on YouTube. I don't have any necessarily as of now. We'll add some later, but please go ahead and do your research there to be able to use them on your projects as well. And as far as Logic, if I may be doing some stuff the long way, to be honest, I just switched over from Reason. I'm watching a lot of Sides videos on YouTube here. She's another content creator who is very well versed in Logic, and she has a book out as well. Just type in Sides and then type in Logic or how to, and then I'm sure her videos will pop up. So while I'm getting well versed with Logic, with those videos and other materials, I am just going because we can't stop the music. So let's see what this guitar loop had. It had the channel EQ, so I just quickly took out some of these lower frequencies here from, what is it, the 4-ish under, to make sure to keep room for the bass and the kick. And then anything dipped down like this is just kind of like what I identified as problem areas or issues when you do your sweep. Like that. Not that. Let's get it back. Alright, so from there I went with a Clarity VX. I got this loop from Lander, guys, and anytime you get loops, maybe sometimes, not with this one necessarily, it's just a habit of mine to add it on here, is that you might have a lot of room noise, or you might have unwanted noise there. So I started with the EQ first to get where I wanted to go as far as the signal, and then to clear it up a little bit here. So let's hear it off. This is what it's on. You can barely hear the change, but that's what you're doing when you're mixing. You're essentially slowly attenuating things or suppressing things or bringing things up to get the sound you want. And then I have my, True Verb, it's a Waves plugin. And I'm barely doing anything here, to be honest. I'm just getting a little bit of reverb. But essentially what I wanted to do with this guitar loop is, because it's a pop, it's going to be a pop song, I want the pop vocals to be up front and in your face so that you can follow along with the singer's vibe and what they're saying in the direction. And I wanted that guitar to be a little bit further back. When you're mixing, you have, you can put stuff up front, in the back, left or right. Just keep that in mind. So that is starting that process. I'm going to add it up with the C1 compressor, which is another Waves plugin, to barely compress it, right? Not too much. And then you can see where the signal tops out here. You can also see the curve here. And then just put your output up a little bit here. Just just realized I didn't do that. I make mistakes all the time, but that's why you just recheck your work to make sure you know, see what you've done. And then that, with that, oh sorry, is that the release I put down, put back to 338 because you want a slower release on that to put stuff further back with that true verb there. Let's add a little R verb on here as well. And that's probably the one that really does it. But you gotta understand that you don't want to just slam the R verb or anything you're trying to do. Have these plugins, have your effects work all together. Teamwork makes the dream work. Sorry. So that's basically just barely doing anything, to be honest. You can actually hear that a lot. That's more than I usually do with reverb. Usually you just want to barely hear stuff, so keep that reverb low here, but keep the wet dry. 66.9, that's kind of where I landed on it. Bring in the kick here because it's got to be a party. So the kick, like I said here, is you can see lower frequencies, so I just took out a little bit of it there, and then I kind of dipped down a little bit here as well on some issues that I've heard from there. The fat effects, because I had this thin kick, which I actually replaced from the previous video where I was producing. The reason why I did that is because it was too thin. It didn't really create the effect that I wanted to, the feeling. So I threw that one off the train, and then this one jumped onto the carriage here. So we are rolling with this. It's a fat crunch. It's the fat effects. If you're familiar with it, it's a great plugin. But also I'm not doing too much with it here as well, but you can hear the difference. So we're getting somewhere with this kick, you know, it's slowly coming out of its shell here. We want to do some compression as well. I'm going C1 comp as well, again, and then similar look here, ratio just at 2, and then we're just compressing just a little bit here. We don't want to overdo anything. I just want to revisit that because it's going to get mixed down again after the vocals are on it. But your singer, your client has to fully feel it, so let's get this smack attack in, and that's what's really going to do it on top of with the other plugins working. So let's hear it off. Let's hear it on. Now we're getting presence, right? 5, turned up just a little bit here, and then what is it, the sustain just at 15. I kind of left everything else as it is, get a little bit of output as well. So that's our kick. What's up with the snares? Let's do the snares together, and then we've got a difference of EQs here. As you can see, they kind of live in the same areas, but you see different frequencies. You definitely see the difference here. So this one has more of a lower from the floor over. So you just want to kind of take that a little bit because you don't necessarily want these things to clash too much together. Anything dip down? No, not really on those two. So from there, you want to move on to your channel. Oh, that was a channel EQ. I left this one as is because it's a short, tight snare, so it's not really anything too much to it. And then this one I add a true verb on here. But I actually forgot to let you know that I have a couple buses over here. These were made with the snares, so after checking out that they were just space delays and EQs that aren't being used, I utilized some of that space delay here on, no, sorry, this bus one is going to compression that I set up on my perk bus here, and then this one's just that little bit of space delay here. So that is it for these snares, and then let's go ahead and go with the hi-hat, right? The hi-hat, the EQ set to here, similar fashion we're trying to do. The big difference is the IDX plugin, and then what this is a Waves plugin, and basically I use a preset here called Vocal to the Front. It says Vocal to the Front, but guys, don't hesitate from using presets as for different instruments and what it's not necessarily labeled as. With this, I put a 16.8 because it was originally higher. This is with it off. that's what it's on. So what I wanted to do is I want to put that vocal up more to the front so that it can kind of smack you in the face a little bit. This was cranked up to like 29 or 30. I just put it down to 16.9, I think I had it at. It's not a huge difference if it's a little bit off. So now you can really get that in the front there. And then, sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm making mistakes all the time. We gotta get some bass in here. So this is the bass as regular. With the EQ on, I will actually just take this EQ off. And the bass is very prominent. It's a synth bass, and then the lower frequencies here really knock your speakers off your stands or whatnot, and so you don't necessarily want that, and you want to keep your walls up in your house or your doors on your car. So you gotta tame that bass. Pretty much I always do that. I've never had not EQ'd kick or bass. So then a little bit of issues there that I found, so just dip those down a little bit. Where am I? I'm right here. I went with IDX again, but I didn't do a preset this time. I just put it on negative 10.8 to get a little bit of more out of it, more presence out of it. That's with it on. And that's with it on, and then I can just solo this real quick so you can really hear that. And then from there I went smack attack as well, and then I just went with 2. Kept the sustain at 0. So you're basically accentuating from your IDX. And then you gotta compress this as well. You don't have to, but I did. And I went with this compressor here. I'm not sure exactly where I found it, sorry. And it's just basically doing about -4, right? It's getting you a little bit of compression there. It's actually more compression than I usually do, but also you just want to make it up here as well on your output ratio, and attack you can see as is there. And then from there I'm just doing some console EQ, and that's a stock Logic plugin, because I just want to take out some more of that low end there, as you can see the difference, or hear the difference, just to keep it a little bit more tamed. And altogether that's how it works out, and then you just add in your stuff back in. The other thing for this hook loop that I have here up top is that differentiating sound. Some wolves howling, some whatever you want to hear, maybe some wind. And then I started with my EQ first of all for that. This is still the bass, so that's not even what I was looking for. It's right here. I didn't do an EQ for this, I just realized that. So it sounds good as is. I probably could do some EQ, but no worries on that. And then this compressor is not even doing anything either. So discovery is what happens when you revisit stuff. So I'm just leaving that as is because it sounds pretty good as is. And like I said, the final engineer will definitely fix any issues if that's clashing with the vocal or whatnot. So that's pretty much the hook part here, and that's pretty much the same instruments and audio that you hear all around. What's different here is, and actually let me take a quick pause, is that I can't stress enough breaks, right? I did have to take a break from producing this, and I took a break overnight, and then Mother Nature gave me another break, and it actually still like 8 inches over here where I'm at. So I actually had to shovel somewhere and stuff like that, but it gave me a necessary good break, because you want to just reset your mind and everything and reset your ears, and then when you're attacking it as a mixing standpoint, you want to attack it as fresh as you can. So like I said, for me, it was just overnight. Usually I wait longer, but we are here now. On the, the bridge part, we have anything differentiating. Yes, we have the switch up here, which is this sound. It would be helpful if I looped it over here. Alright, so what's up with that though? Let's run our signal, and then channel EQ on this Sky Keys plugin, and then you can see where the frequencies are there, where I kind of took out. I went out with the microphaser, right? This is, I believe, a stock plugin. Yeah, it's a stock plugin. And what I want to do there is I kind of want to modulate it a little bit. So let's hear it off. You hear that? It kind of pushes it a little bit further back too as well, because it's essentially breaking up the signal. So just rate low intensity half and then feedback 30%, okay? Let's compress it though, right? Because the walls are closing in, so might as well. I'm going C1 compressor as well, and that's kind of like my go-to, guys. I gotta get off some of my go-tos, so let me know what compressors do you use on your projects. But just the same situation, just slightly, and then we have our snaps. That's new to the segment here on the audio, so you're gonna do the same thing. My snaps, I don't have an EQ. I probably should have an EQ, to be honest, but it's just compressing just very slightly here. And then, like I said, this is a version before the vocals, so extend it out a little bit so that you can hear the switch back into here. Alright, what else is different on this? Nothing else except the crash, guys. And then the crash, I believe I just kept that as is, which that's your crash right there. The crash is right here, so yeah, it's just a channel EQ that's highlighted, but it's not even doing anything, as you can see, that straight line there. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's how I mix this. How would you mix it? Let me know. But also is that we'll take a quick listen without this loop, because I'm always messing up here. If you're like a meter sleuth here, you're probably noticing that this is pretty low. When we play this, it's because I'm streaming, guys. Just remember that, because that's the max audio I can kind of put on this stream without it sounding way too distorted in however you're listening to it. That's not how I'd have it, and that's not how I had it when I mixed. But alright, that's how I mix this instrumental here. And then, like I said, I need a vocalist or a singer for it. Let's network. That's what we're here for. But also is that, how would you have done it? How would you have gone about your mix, you know? And also send me some of your works of art, and then we can certainly discuss on that. But thanks for sitting with me, and till next time.